Good morning, everybody, and a happy Saturday morning to you. Oh my God. Just when you think it can't go any worse, spiral down we go. Spoon me, fork me. I'm not kidding. There's a lot in here. Let's jump in. Let's get it. Let's go. We are going to start out with the king meeting with Do Minh Hung, who is the ambassador of Vietnam to the United Kingdom, and then General Valery Zaluzhnyi, the ambassador to Ukraine. Let's move on now to Queen Camilla. On Thursday the 20th, she paid tribute to staff from a leading domestic abuse center for helping the women that are survivors of domestic abuse. First, she had, after she arrived and met everybody, she had a private meeting with a small group of women supported by the Asian Women Resource Center, the AWRC. They have been there helping people for 45 years. Now, it may say the Asian women's, but they actually help women of all cultures across London. They cover things from forced marriage, coercive control, honor-based abuse, and is also a women's center providing holistic support. So they have things like art therapy, all kinds of cool stuff like that. When introduced to a worker that specializes in a certain kind of mutilation, I'm not going to say it because YouTube doesn't like that word, the charity that campaigning to end violence against women and girls, the Queen said it's just terrifying that it's still happening. Basically, it's like a female circumcision if that leads you in the right direction. She spoke for more than 30 minutes with the survivors. Then she went upstairs. She met the staff, and then she met some of the kids and she just had a great time. And as usual, she's bringing attention to them, not herself, if that makes sense. She's helping to push the narrative of what's going on to women forward and helping to bring attention to this particular charity. There you go. This organization, by the way, was originally set up by a group of Asian women to address domestic violence and the needs of survivors that were not being met by traditional institutions. Of course, she unveiled a plaque at the end. I just love that. All right, time to move on. Now, I told you the other day that this was going to take place and I would let you know when pictures came out. Here we go. Charles, Camilla, Princess Anne, the Duke and Duchess of Gloucester had a huge reception at Buckingham Palace that celebrated humanitarian organizations and their milestone anniversaries. They recognized exceptional individuals and organizations that contributed to global humanitarian efforts. And this gathering brought together representatives from 4 major charities that had significant anniversaries in 2025. Palace officials put out a statement that read, "Thank you to the exceptional individuals and organizations contributing towards humanitarian efforts across the globe." And at Buckingham Palace, the King and Queen, joined by the Princess Royal and the Duke and Duchess of Gloucester, welcomed guests to thank them for their vital work. The reception also marked the anniversaries of 4 global charities: Shelter Box UK, Islamic Relief UK, Christian Aid UK, and IHP UK. Their Majesties were also shown displays on the work of these 4 charities, as well as a special collection of images from the Disaster Emergency Committee. So basically, during the reception, the King and the Queen and their guests got to view displays on the work of the 4 humanitarian organizations, as well as see stories from volunteers who work with these organizations. And of course, as I just said, they also saw a collection of images from the Disasters Emergency Committee, the DEC, sent to the King for World Humanitarian Day in August of 2024. There were a total of 15 images from the Disaster Emergency Committee, and notably, the 4 organizations together represent a combined 165 years of global humanitarian work. And King Charles, by the way, has been the patron of International Health Partners since 2004. How amazing is that? Now, I mentioned to you Shelter Box. This was founded in 2000, and it is an international disaster charity that provides emergency shelter and other household items like tents and water filters to families around the world who have lost their homes to disaster, conflict, and climate crisis. More than 3 million people have been supported by this charity, and that works out to over 300 people a day. And the Queen became the president of Shelterbox in 2007 before becoming its patron in 2021. I just wanted to point that out. Well, it looks like it was just a rousing success. All right, let's move on now. Interestingly enough, Soho House has a whole line of furniture and decorations, so your house can look like Soho House. They have it in the UK and the US, and they sell absolutely everything that you could possibly imagine. So anyway, we know that Meghan Markle merch is absolutely everything, but in this particular thing, I'm not saying she's merching. I'm just saying that she has the cutlery from Soho House, and why not? She's so entwined with Soho House. Now, it was the Sidley twins who pointed this out, who saw the connection. If you look during her video, you saw the silverware, and sure enough, it's the Soho House. Yep. Now, moving on, I'm just going to touch on this. This has been covered ad nauseum. We have another plagiarism claim about Meghan Markle. Listen, we know that she copied the logo. We know that she copied the name. She copies everything. This woman has never had an original idea of her own. It is just one of the most unbelievable things. I don't even know what to say about it anymore. The New York City company, the clothing label, as ever, of course, it didn't take long for them to start being attacked, and they had to reach out for legal advice. And of course, I'm sure that had something to do with the Sussex squad. So before anybody goes crazy, they attacked them, it would appear, allegedly, on Twitter until they shut their store down. So here is their, I guess you call it their Twitter handle. It's been shut down, but do you see what it is at the top? It's done, LOL. That's the Sussex squad. In the meantime, it seems like Meghan has grabbed a couple of different things on Twitter. At least we're assuming they're Meghan's. Who the hell knows? Big name people, though, are really starting to speak out, like Meghan McCain. She was on the premiere of her Happy Hour online series Wednesday, and she said about Meghan Markle, she goes, she apparently never listens to anyone living in reality. It's like, oh my God. She said, well, I thought American Riviera Orchard was a terrible name to begin with. She then went on to say, I can't stand her. I love people I can relate to, like every other 40-year-old mom. I don't want to eat her jam. I love Princess Kate. I don't know what she's doing. This is like her 9th rebrand. I actually had to review her show and her podcast, and it was horrible. It was so boring. I would not tell her to do any of this stuff. I would have a whole different idea of how to help her career. Sorry. Now, she did say one thing that really got to me because like everybody else, she said, I used to really like her. She goes, but now she and Harry are boring. They don't understand transparency. And she's tone deaf and out of touch, and she wants to be American again instead of a British aristocracy, and she forgets what America is. It's raw and uncensored. It was about this time that Bethany Frankel spoke out. Now, her video, her Instagram thing was quite long, so I chopped it up to just the pertinent points for you. Here you go.
To exactly who she is to the audience. Like, first, we're in Montecito, and it's all perfect, which would have been fine. Commit to the bit, because they do live in, I think, like a $23 million house in Montecito, and it is pretty pristine. So commit to that bit. But I feel like because of a reaction from you guys, now it's more natural and just delivering really unfiltered, fresh out of bed content. And that is turning people off because they're like, wait, what happened to the perfect content? And then the name change to Ever After. Someone on social media said it's because it was denied. The trademark was denied. So rather than just tell the true story, it's like another reason why the brand is called something else. And I think what's going on is since the two of them left the monarchy, they've never been able to really get their footing, because to be pre-royal to who she wants to be post-royal, what his role was, who they are or what it is. And you can never let the market decide what you do or what you sell or what you produce. Like even in product, I never let what a partner with you guys. You guys are just too emotionally intelligent and too good at branding, marketing, and just understanding the human psyche. No one can get anything past you guys.
Spot on as usual. I love that woman. Now, in the meantime, another company has stepped forward. It's an Arizona-based photography called As Ever Photography, and they took to Instagram to make a comment towards the Duchess of Sussex after the rebranding. It says, when one of the world's most famous people in the world starts using your biz name of 12 plus years that you named in honor of your grandmother, seems like they could throw me a little bone. Joking, she hopes to be enlisted as photographer of the brand. Yeah, hold on for that because it ain't happening. So here are my thoughts. Meghan is stuck in this revolving door, and she is so inauthentic, cringeworthy. She puts out these stupid videos that are supposed to be on the fly. And now she's using her children for no other reason than to divert attention away from all of her mistakes. This is an adult covering up for her mistake by using her child. I, for one, could care less if I ever saw her children. And how could you go on and on about safety and security and we want them to grow up normal? And then what do? You use your children. She is a hypocrite, and I completely agree with this article. She has this hello little people tone adopted by her because, of course, she's so high and mighty and above us all. This article is right on. What they're selling is not poshness itself. She's selling, I don't know, something that might appeal to the peasants. It's a hard one to get right. And with the brand name, Meghan seems to have changed course in the direction of, according to the article, like a Calvin Klein perfume or something abstract and upmarket. So this is just such crap. And of course, she's a plagiarizer again because Delphine, remember her, Nacho's wife, did this whole video. Let me explain. She's walking through the woods and she says, I recently helped some friends at their home in the Hamptons, a table for their dinner, and I was amazed by how simple it is to turn an ordinary table into an extraordinary gathering with Duggan Society. Their collection is beautiful, it's easy. I feel that I could never go wrong with their tablescapes. And of course, all this music is playing in the background. Da, da, na, 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 na. And I'm like, yeah, that's a copy. In the meantime, a blind item just came out basically saying that Delphine refuses to be seen with Meghan in public anymore, which could be true because we have not seen them together. Now, going back to Meghan, she wants you to believe that she's a foodie. She is not a foodie. And at one point, if you can believe this, she wanted to launch a foodie website called Spoon Me, Fork Me. Oh my God. So then the following years, she moved on to Eat, Pray, Love phases with the Tig. Then, of course, we know she dated the chef. There was some talk about her taking, credit for some of his recipes. Today, she's in the pursuit of joy with other millionaires or their wives. And it's all about details like the mint leaves in ice cubes. I mean, come on, you guys. She's not a foodie. She never was. She wants you to believe it, but she never was. All right, let's move on. All right, let's go on to the visa row now. On the 21st, it was being reported that the U.S. government must make a determination which documents regarding Harry's visa application can be disclosed. Now, I'm not going to go through the whole thing again with the think tank, the Heritage Foundation. We know what's going on. They're saying that Harry's document is of immense public interest because, after all, he got probably preferential treatment from the Biden administration, either that or he made false allegations or declarations on his immigration form because, in the spare, he readily admits he's a drug abuser. And then the decision came out that the lawyers for the Department of Homeland Security have decided to release some documents related to Harry's visa. Oh my God. They said that 3 documents can be unsealed, but with redactions to protect Harry's privacy. But this will reveal if the father of 2 was honest about his drug use. There you go. I've always said that's all the information we need. Did he or did he not check the box? A yes or a no. It's pretty obvious that he was being protected by Biden. Now, with all of this, if you can imagine, it's being reported that Harry and Meghan are contemplating legal action against Donald Trump for what he said about Meghan, calling her terrible and saying that Harry is whipped. Well, guess what? That's his opinion. This is no different than when Meghan said those things about her sister and said, that's my opinion, that's my thought process. Well, you know what? That's Trump's thought process. And he had every right to air his thought process. So you can't really sue against something when it's true. So good luck on that. I mean, isn't it Meghan Markle who said horrible things about Donald Trump in the past? She's called him misogynistic and divisive before she met Harry. And then after she met Harry, she didn't go to see him, Trump, when he was in the UK with the Queen. Listen, she didn't like him. He doesn't like her. She's made comments about him. He's made comments about her, but that's just their opinion and they're entitled to it. Well, what are you going to do? Well, just a reminder, my tomato soup recipe dropped yesterday on my other channel, The Secret Life of Sue. Don't forget that the link to that channel is down in the description box, along with the link to my Twitter, my Gettr, my Rumble, my email, my Amazon wish list, my physical address, as well as a link to my father's book, which is still for sale. For those of you who've donated to my coffee fund, thank you so much. And as always, you guys, have a great day.